Hi guys, here is Board 2 here with another video. This time it's a FIFA video showing my most recent Foot Champs Weekend League gameplay, and I'll be talking over how the weekend went. And right now you're just seeing the team that I played most of the weekend for. The only difference being that I switched out Inform Lallana for regular Lallana around 10 games in, so I'm actually recording this at the end of the weekend league. So you see regular Lallana in my squad there, but I had informal Lallana at the start of the weekend. So in defense I have Peter Schmeichel in goal, Luke Shaw on the left, Smalling and Bailly are the two center backs, and then Coleman at right back. I needed to put in Reed in for Bailly a couple of times because Bailly got a red card, and I put in Baines in the midfield once in a while as well. And Lallana was alright for me. I wasn't too impressed with him. He was just sort of there and moved the ball along well to the forwards. Conte's been amazing for me, breaking up the play in the middle, and has just been doing amazing for me. And Fernandinho's just been there when I needed him to be there, defending well, and also getting forward and playing good balls to the front three. And then the front three is second informer Arnautovic, regular Lukaku, and first inform Mane. The second informer Arnautovic has been great for me, been really strong with the ball and has been pretty clinical in front of goal as well for me. Mane has been great, but the real star of the show has been Lukaku, and he's been in my team pretty much since the last weekend league video I made, which was 2 or 3 weekends ago now. And Lukaku's just been a beast up front and has scored so many goals off of headers, and he's also been really good finishing inside the box. And here's some of the player instructions I use. So for Lukaku, stay central, get him behind. Left forward, right forward is balanced with get him behind. Conte is stay back while attacking. Shaw and Coleman are stay back while attacking. Everything else is the same. And then for the custom tactics, I have everything on default and cover instead of offside trap for the defensive line. So without further ado, let's get into the first game of gameplay. And this is actually my 6th game. I didn't record my first 5 games. I just didn't have recording on at the time and was still getting used to the team and whatnot. But the first 5 or so games that I recorded were pretty laggy because I was playing late at night and wasn't really finding many people to match up against. But I got a nice goal there with Mane, and made a bad move there with Smalling and let him in to score to tie it up at 1-1. And he had a pretty good team, played pretty well. And Lukaku with a great finish after getting in behind the defense there. And yeah, he's been fantastic for me. I think that was his 100th goal for the club there as well, which was pretty good. And then he gets a corner in the 90th minute, brings his goalkeeper up, and I guess he moved his front post player away to draw Shaw away from the front post, and he got a lucky header in to tie it up at 2-2. So we went to extra time, and then I think he scored a really good goal here. Yeah, just that inform Parolo just had a really good first touch and just banged it past Schmeichel. Didn't really have much of a chance there. Luckily in the 105th minute in stoppage time, that inform Lallana puts in a great corner to Lukaku, and Lukaku is there again. And that would force penalties. And I sped up the penalties just because they took a while last time I made the weekend league video, and there's a few times we go into penalties. And it just makes it quicker and easier to go through all of them. He missed that one off the post, luckily, and I've been using a particular tactic for my penalties recently, where I'll fake going left, and that'll make the player run like he's going left, and then hit it right. But I only do that for in-game penalties. Once I get to the actual penalties, I need to change it around because then they'll catch on to the trick, obviously. Mane missed that one. I was surprised he stayed in the middle actually, but luckily I read his move and was able to save his last penalty and win the game. And then I had 2 straight losses after that, and funnily enough, my losses, I never bounced straight back after a loss. I always had another loss to go with it, which was interesting. And I've decided not to show the losses because I'm showing more gameplay this time of like 20 games rather than the last 10 or 12. So I thought I would just show the wins instead, make it more interesting. And this guy had a pretty decent team. I think he subbed off Kimmich in the middle there and put on Renato Sanchez. I think he was just using him for chemistry. But I was playing pretty well in this game, and yeah, I ended up with 2 goals, one from Fernandinho and one from Mane, in similar sort of styles, and I think he rage quit after that one. And then coming into this game, I knew he was going to sub off those 2 bronzes early on, and he did. Pretty sure he pauses right at the start here. Yeah, he does. And I think he brought on Renato Sanchez and Willian, so I think he played that Mane up front. And I was really annoyed with that goal because I thought Shaw had the header away, and I pressed the header away and it just didn't header it away for me and let him go in with a volley. But luckily I got one back with Arnautovic with really quick reactions and slotting away the loose ball. That was in the 81st minute. Wow, that was quite late. And then in extra time, can't remember how I scored this one actually. Oh yeah, of course, Lukaku. Whenever I forget it's a goal, it's probably Lukaku finishing it off in the box. He just scores so many goals for me, and I don't think I subbed off my front 3 at all weekend league. Then I came up against the squad, pretty solid team, good hybrid, some really good players. I think he mainly had Sissoko in there just for chemistry for Griezmann. But I was able to get a nice goal in there with Mane, and those low driven shots are just so useful inside the box, and they were just really great for me, and I've added that to my game since last weekend league that I showed you guys anyways. And Arnautovic scored another goal for me pretty early on, and that's how that game would end. And then I had 3 straight losses. 2 of them were tough losses that were pretty close, and then I just got destroyed by this like Russian team with like, it was like a full Russian league team that just destroyed me, like 6-2 or something, and I had no idea. I was just in the dumps at that point, and luckily I was able to bounce back from it with this game. Although it wouldn't really look like I would be bouncing back from it because first 2 things that I show are goals against me, and I go 2-0 down within the first half hour. But right before halftime, Coleman with the corner and Lukaku front post again. It's just so hard for people to defend that. And then late in the game, Arnautovic with the header this time from short corner because he started guarding the near post. So I decided to go short corner and then across into the box. And then this game actually went to extra time as well, and I think that's regular Lallana. I think I had switched to regular Lallana by this time, but he joined the attack really well and caught up with the play and slotted in a tapping goal, which was nice, and that gave me a win. And then this team was pretty tough if I remember correctly as well. Really decent Serie A squad. Lukaku with a really nice diving header there. I don't normally score diving headers, but I had a few really key diving headers with Lukaku this weekend. But yeah, this guy, really skillful player. Like, he had that stop and turn there to tie it up at 1-1 going into the half. And in the 80th minute, Lukaku cuts inside, scores the goal. Mane takes credit for it. Still have no idea how Mane got the credit for it, but was able to get away with a win there. Probably didn't really have that good of a game, but got lucky and scraped it out at the end. And then playing against this team, He goes 1-0 up again. It seems like I concede a lot of early goals and then come back in the second half. And then that was really good decision making. I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit here, but I was very proud of myself for not just running down the line with Mane there and cutting it inside, because I saw that Lukaku was away down the middle if I could find him. And once again in extra time, just finding a way to score late on with Arnautovic, Lukaku, or Mane. And yeah. And then even later on in extra time, I sealed the deal in the 120th minute and got away with the 3-1 win, and that put me up to silver 1 by that point. So now I'm starting to get close to what I normally hit, which is normally gold 3, gold 2. And then I come up against this team, really good squad. Merton's on like 4 chem though, which was interesting. And this time it's Lukaku crossing it to Arnautovic, and that's one of the reasons I like Arnautovic, is because of his strong presence in the box. And that was actually the 89th minute, one of the only chances of the game. Really tough game, that one, and managed to squeak away with a win there. And this is another reason why I love Arnautovic. Like, you're seeing with these clips, like, he's able to outmuscle defenders and run past them and score a lot of goals for me. That penalty, I did not mean to put that high. I got very lucky with that one going off the crossbar and in. And I went 2-0 up, but then in the second half, he goes and gets one back in the 56th minute. And then, look at that lag. Like, I had a lot of input lag this weekend. And just got really unlucky this game. There was some really bad input lag. Couldn't have really done anything about that. And then in the 87th minute, Arnautovic with a cheeky chip over the goalkeeper. Got a little bit lucky on that one. I honestly thought after the keeper had stopped that I wouldn't have been able to get it over him, but I did. And then he goes and equalizes in the 89th minute, like immediately after. I think that might have been off the kickoff. So I was really frustrated with that. And that sent it to extra time. And then in the second half of extra time, he gets a lucky rebound and slides in and puts himself 4-3 up. And in the dying moment of the game, 119th minute, Baines just takes out that touch over the defender, slots it into Lukaku, and I tie the game in extra time of the second half of extra time. And we go to penalties. And yeah, I'd consider myself pretty lucky to get into penalties this game. I was pretty happy with myself that I was able to bounce back so many times. And I guessed correctly on like 2 of his penalties here, like the one just before that, and I think the next one too I guessed the right way. Not that one obviously, but the one after that I guessed the right way, and Schmeichel let in both of them, which was pretty frustrating, but luckily I got away with it. Yeah, that one there. And Lallana to win the game for me, I think. Yeah, Lallana won the game for me there with that penalty, and I got pretty lucky in that game. That was probably the turning point for me, was getting that crazy win. 4-4 and then a win on penalties, I think, was pretty insane, and probably my standout performance of sort of coming back and fighting. And that actually got me up to gold 3, so I'm in the clear. I'm qualified for the next weekend league, and then I came up against Dybala, Aguero, and I forget the name of that inform, but I got really lucky in this game. In the first half, great interception by Conte, finding the space and getting it to Arnautovic, who finishes it, and that would be the end of the game, and I would win that one 1-0. And then I had 2 tough losses. I fought pretty hard in them, just couldn't really get the offensive play and the defensive play. They were just better opponents than me, really. and couldn't really do much about that. Then I came up against this team, and yeah, just Jack Butland was terrible for him this game, and I got lucky, scored a few goals that were probably attributed to Jack Butland just not playing the best that he could, and went 2-0 up. But I was creating the chances, and even though he had his really good front three, like he had this chance just unstoppable, 87 Mane with that speed. That was just a great goal from him, couldn't really do much about it. And then of course later in the second half, front post to Lukaku puts me 3-1 up, and I would end up winning that 3-1, and that would put me up to gold 2. So, you know, getting there, and I still have 2 games to play, sorry. After those 2 tough losses, I only had 2 games to play. So I was still in reach of gold 1, which is the best I've ever done, is gold 1, I believe. And Lukaku, again, getting away from the opposition. He doesn't have the highest pace, but with a 100 card, he can still break away from the defenders really well, and his strength really helps him in that. And tough goal to concede there. Got done by that fake shot, and he did really well to finish it off. And then Lukaku with another diving header there in the 70th minute. Mane out-muscling his left back to get into that position, and that would be another win for me. And with 1 match left, I still have gold 1 in my sights, and I come up against this team with Morata, Aspas, Coutinho on 4-chem, which was a bit strange, and a few other really good players. And just nearing the end of the first half, I got a really good goal with Mane there from outside the box, and really good finish by him. And then pretty early on in the second half as well, another diving header by Lukaku. Just, he's been insane for me. If he gets Player of the Month, I'll be doing the Player of the Month for sure, to get an upgraded version of him, because he's been insane. And then he gets a pretty lucky goal pretty much off the kickoff of that last goal by Lukaku. Good dribbling to get into that space, but a bit disappointed in myself that I let him get into that position. And that one was strange. I defended it the best I could. I stopped him from taking the initial shot, but he got the second chance and finished it well. And then of course, in stoppage time of the last game, Lukaku chests it down in the box, scores a volley, stopping it from going into penalties and winning me the game again. Lukaku, like, you've got to try Lukaku out. He's just insane. He pretty much single-handedly got me to gold 1 this week, and he's just been insane. Other than that, and that's about everything for this weekend, and hopefully I'll be making more of these videos soon. Peace.